What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be breaking down my top 17 tips to instantly improve in Call of Duty. These tips and tricks can apply to all skill levels and ranks, whether it's Warzone or multiplayer, so I hope you guys enjoy and learn something. Number 1. Warming up. Alright, this may sound a bit cliche, but warming up before you hop into some games is a really effective way at improving your skill. Some quick examples of warming up are playing in a quick private match against bots with or without aim assist on, playing a few games of shipment or small map mosh pit, or just hitting the firing range for 10 or so minutes and warming up your aim. Whether you do this before you play ranked or hop on with your friends or to impress a girl you play with, warming up before you jump into some games will always have your aim and movement looking sharp as hell. Number 2. Finding new teammates. Now, I do say this a lot on my channel, and it's not in any way a disrespect to your current teammates or friends list. I just always encourage players to find new teammates, whether that be from Discord servers or subreddits, or just adding players in game and asking them to squad up. By doing this, you will build a more consistent and competitive friends list, especially if these new players have more skill than you. Just like sports, in video games, if you want to get better, you need to play with better players. Number 3. 1v1s and 2v2s. This one's pretty simple, guys. Do more 1v1s and even 2v2s if you can. Find a friend, load up a private match, and 1v1 each other on maps like Shipment or Rust. My tip would be to make sure you guys are using the same weapon and don't allow kill streaks, lethals, or tacticals to be used to keep it all gun skill. Now, a while back they did have a game mode on multiplayer that was a 1v1 on Shipment, so keep an eye out if that ever comes back in the future, as it's pretty fun and a great way to improve your game awareness, movement, aiming, and identifying your weaknesses. Number 4. KD. You may have already heard this one a ton of times already, but KD is something you need to stop caring so much about if you want to improve in Call of Duty. There's always an argument to be made that the more times you fail at something, the better you will become. So it is mostly a fact that the more times you die in COD, naturally you will become better. Sure, camping and playing ratty can keep your KD at 2.0, but if you're looking to improve in Call of Duty, you just gotta throw yourself in more gunfights and eventually it will pay off. Trust me, guys. And this leads me into my next tip. Number 5. 50-50 gunfights. Meaning you have a 50% chance of winning the gunfight. A coin toss, essentially. To give an example, you just fry someone, but they have you at low health. And you see someone else close by who doesn't see you. Should you start shooting right away or wait till your health regenerates? Now, the true answer to this is experience. That is why I believe when it comes to non-ranked modes, you should always be throwing yourself in more 50-50 gunfights, as the reward is much greater than the risk. But I believe it is almost the opposite in ranked. Constantly throwing yourself in 50-50 gunfights in ranked can be detrimental to your team. That is why, with a great amount of experience in 50-50 situations, you will become an expert on knowing when to shoot or to simply back off and run away. Because as the old saying goes, you can lose the battle but still win the war. Number 6. Settings. Now, for this one, I'll just go over my settings and explain what works best for me and highlight some settings that I feel are really important. So first, we will go into graphics, down to safe area. We want to pull this all the way in, bringing the minimap closer, which allows for less eye movement when checking your radar. Next, you want to make sure your first person camera movement is on at least 50%. For FOV, field of view, I recommend 105 for multiplayer and 115 for resurgence and 120 for battle royale. Next, we will talk about dead zones. Especially if your controller has stick drift, you may want to adjust these. My SCUF controller does not have stick drift, so I keep mine very low. Honestly, I used to play on 2020 sensitivity, and ever since I lowered my sensitivity and adjusted my dead zones, my aiming has improved drastically. There's even an option to test your dead zones on your controller, so test it out for yourself, guys, and see what works best for you. My sensitivity is currently at 4.4 as I'm just trying it out. I usually play at 5 or 6 with my sensitivity multiplier at 0.75. And I always keep my aim response curve type on dynamic and my aim assist type on default. Next, we will go to interface. I prefer my minimap to be square, and if we scroll down to telemetry, I like to keep all of these on, as you can see the time, packet loss, ping, etc. Next, we will move to audio, and if you are on console, soundbar is really good for hearing footsteps, so definitely go with that. And for the last bit of settings, I will just go through my gameplay settings and you can just copy it if you want, as they're pretty standard. Alright, on to number 7, setup. Now, I understand this may not be a viable option for everyone, as newer and better setups can be pretty expensive, so I'm just going to give some recommendations that work for me. The 3 things that really helped me up my game in Call of Duty are getting a controller with back paddles, buying a gaming monitor to play on 120 FPS and buying a good headset. Also, I do recommend getting an Ethernet cable for a hardwired connection for less lag. Now, there are gaming monitors on Amazon that go for like $100, so you don't have to spend thousands on that. And if you don't want a controller with paddles, you can always change your jump and slide buttons in your settings to do these movements faster. Number 8. Watch the pros. This one's pretty simple, guys. If you want to improve in Call of Duty, go find a CDL player you enjoy watching and study their gameplay. Or just go watch some pro games from past seasons, and I promise you guys, you will learn something. By doing this more often, you will definitely improve your skills, as it definitely worked for me. Number 9. Play ranked more often. Now, if you play ranked 24/7 like me, then this may not apply to you, but it is a fact that the more ranked you play, the faster you will improve, especially multiplayer ranked. The fast-paced games and strict SBMM will definitely improve your game IQ, movement, and aiming. Number 10. Take the team player role. There is a lot of ego in Call of Duty, and especially in ranked, players will just be running around hunting for kills, so this tip definitely helped me improve a ton. Basically, if you start to become more of a team player, you will notice yourself winning more games. Let me give you some examples. If you are playing with randoms on hardpoint and no one is playing the objective, start holding that point, even if it's not really your style. Or in Warzone, if you notice your teammates are dying a lot, just take that anchor player role and start playing your life more, even if that isn't really your style and you're used to playing really aggressive. This works extremely well in ranked, guys, and sometimes it may not be fun, but taking that team player role more often will always have you winning more games. Number 11. Weapons and metas. This is another easy tip, guys. If you want to win more gunfights in Call of Duty, you need to be using meta weapons. To stay up to date, I follow Warzone meta on Twitter, or X if you will. They give you updates on all the latest weapon metas and builds for Resurgence and Big Map. Number 12. Signature moves. This tip is about mastering each move in a gunfight and knowing what move to use in different situations. For example, snaking, drop shotting, jump shotting, etc. Mastering each of these moves will make you a harder player to play against, and you'll have the ability to perfect different signature moves in any situation. Number 13. Lethals and tacticals. In Call of Duty, you need to make the most out of every life or every situation. Something I see in newer players or even experienced players is that they aren't using their lethals and tacticals enough. Stun grenading rooms before entering, semtexing lanes to delay enemies from pushing, or even in Warzone, I notice a lot of players will run around with no lethals or tacticals until they get loadout, just cause they didn't want to pick up a scatter mine or a breacher drone. If you don't have any, pick them up, guys. Anything is better than nothing, and these lethals and tacticals can always be used to give you the upper hand in a gunfight. And the same goes with field upgrades. If you have a trophy system, guys, throw it down. Saving it for the right moment isn't always the best way to do it. Number 14. Slow your game down. This one's simple, guys. Stop rushing everything and being so aggressive. Play more patient. Take the time to check corners. Pre-aim a little longer. We all know how COD timing is, or how one bad push can ruin a game. So by slowing your game down, you will notice that you'll be making far less mistakes. Number 15. Utilizing cover and high ground. You can have more skill than someone, but if they are behind cover and you have to hit all headshots, you probably aren't going to win that gunfight. That is why it is always so important to use objects to your advantage. Becoming good at head glitching, stair glitching, and using high ground to your advantage will have you winning gunfights against players twice your skill level. Number 16. Be unpredictable. It doesn't matter if it's Warzone or multiplayer, guys, always try to stay as unpredictable as you can. This means taking the long way or constantly switching up your routes or just doing what your enemy will least expect. You will find yourself catching your enemies off guard, and by always staying unpredictable, you will be winning much more gunfights. Alright, time for my final tip, guys. Number 17. Make a second account. I'm a big advocate for creating what's known as an alt account or a smurf account. By doing this, you can use this new account to only focus on KD or the opposite and just play crazy aggressive and not worry about your stats. There are many benefits to having a second account, so I highly encourage you, if you don't have one already, to go set that up. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. As always, please go like, comment, and subscribe. And if you didn't like the video, just go watch something else. Peace out.